business. It's business time. Hang tight, we're gonna get into the business right here in a couple minutes. Baby, baby. It's business. It's business time. All right, so we are here at week 5 of It's Business Time. We got the Phillies in the background. They are kicking butt. They are winning. It is a good day. And I am here with Jeanne Kress of Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce. Want to thank real quick Stitch House for having us, doing this every week in our series. And like I said, this is week 5 of our series. We are so glad to have somebody here who's got a little bit different of a perspective. You've got a lot of the inside look on small business. And before we get started, I do want to give one quick shout out. Stitch House, local brews, good food. Make sure to come through. But yes, thank you so much for joining us, Jeanne. You got your phone in your hand, but
thank you.
Pleasure. Is your microphone?
I don't think it is.
Okay, let me give you a little bit more volume here. Give it a little check there.
Check, check.
All right, perfect. So just to start, I mean, you're a wealth of information. We met actually at one of the Delaware First networking events.
Yes.
Which is the third Tuesday of every month right here at Stitch House.
Correct, yes.
Third Tuesday, right?
Actually, the one is actually, it's on Wednesdays. Or it is the third Tuesday.
Third Tuesday,
Yes.
yeah, okay.
And it's Creative King and the Black Chamber sponsors it.
Okay, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Christopher Bruce is the host.
Correct, yes.
Wonderful guy.
Yes.
Met him a bunch of times on Market Street. He is
Yes.
definitely a Market Street, local Market Street figure there.
Yes.
So just to kind of jump right into it, I want to get to a little bit of your background personally in a moment, but
Sure.
but can you just give a little brief synopsis of what it is that the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce does, and you know how it's kind of involved in the community?
Oh, well, thank you for that. That's great. So the Chamber is really the conduit to your business community.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a small business, a medium-sized business, or even a large business, the Chamber of Commerce is going to connect you with resources and other businesses that are going to help you grow. So we want to help your business grow by connecting you with people who can do business with you or that can help sustain your ecosystem. So it's really important. Connection is vital in any business. So what the Chamber does is we connect the community and Newcastle County, but we also give a stage to small businesses. We love entrepreneurs, we love dreams, we love ideas, and we want you to come through our doors so that we can help and support you. But not only that, we can also introduce you to folks who've been in this arena for years, larger businesses, corporations. So we have a whole potpourri of businesses that can not only guide, help, assist you, but they can also help your business grow.
Oh.
So that's part of what we do.
Yeah. Like I said, I know there's a big texture here, and we're going
Right.
to definitely get into that in a moment. But so largely kind of like a networking and kind of like a nexus or a central point of a lot of different types of businesses where many different sorts of businesses come to meet in one spot.
Absolutely. Really, the Chamber is all about opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really want to connect, I always see the Chamber as a place, or let me change that. I always see your business as a place like your baby. And the most important is human connection. Your business is the same way. So the Chamber is literally a place for people to convene and meet and nurture those connections and that network to keep your business healthy and growing.
Gotcha. And this is largely through like networking events or at the physical location?
Well, that's the great thing. So Wilmington, Newcastle County, Ellesmere, Newark, everywhere in Newcastle County has amazing businesses that we hold networking events at, and that we also have our larger events meet and convene. We do our annual dinner, for example, is at the Chase Center.
Okay.
Our State of the County is at Clayton Hall down in Newark.
Okay.
So we love to just use every resource so we can show off your business so that you can understand what is here and how vitally important it is to your business.
Right.
Because ignorance is not bliss
Right.
when you're trying to grow your business.
Absolutely. Yeah, especially, I mean, Delaware is such a unique market, too.
Yeah.
I want to jump back to Delaware in a moment, but before we get too far into
Okay.
Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce, I want to learn a little bit more about you.
Okay.
Jeanne, what's your background? How did you find your way into this space?
That's a great question. So I, for a while, was a serial entrepreneur myself.
Okay.
Back in about, I would say back in 95, we moved to Hickory, North Carolina.
Okay.
And the deal was I had to start my own business. And I created a business called Sold on Hold. I created on hold messages to advertise to companies.
Oh, wow.
So, and it was great. I loved it. It was
Sold on
before the
Hold.
digital age.
Yeah.
So it was a lot different than it
I
is
love
now.
the branding there, too. Sold
Thank
on
you.
hold.
Yes. So then we moved and I had children, which was great. I love being a mom. I still love being a mom. And then as they grew up, I had a midlife crisis. So am I going to have an affair? Am I going to buy that sports car? Or am I going to open a business?
Right,
Well, I
right.
chose to open a business.
Wise.
I think my husband was really happy about
Yeah,
that.
right.
So I opened the Perfect Blend. We were next to Bing's Bakery on Main Street in Newark.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So we sold authentic Belgian waffles and specialty coffee.
Wow.
And once I went
What
on,
year was this?
that was in 2016.
Okay. Gotcha.
So once I started that journey, one of the things that I see happen with folks that are very invested and they want to live their dreams and they do their due diligence, the universe puts things in place for them.
Yeah.
So as I was doing my research and I was out there and I was working for people for free and really trying to learn the business, Pike Creek Coffee came up for sale. So I
Okay.
bought all their equipment and I used but he didn't sell the roasting part of it to me.
Right.
He kept that for several years,
Right.
and I bought his coffee.
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, I started to try to find what would bring people into the Perfect Blend other
Right.
than coffee. So I thought, I'm going to do pies. We need pies, right?
Yeah.
I can't cook a pie to save your life. So I was going to be very poor cooking pies. But then one day I came up with the idea of waffles, and I stumbled upon authentic Belgian waffles with the sugar pearls, with the yeast, it was a
wow.
dough.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I created that, and my neighbor, who was my tester, tried it, and she said, Jeanne, this waffle compares to the 1965 World's Fair waffle in New
Yeah.
York City. I said,
Wow.
I got it. And the next day, we opened up the shop.
Wow, that's an awesome story. I'm a
you.
UD alum myself.
Okay.
So I know that we actually have quite a few here in the house as well.
Okay.
These are all guys that I met down there. So Bing's Bakery. What was the name of the shop? One more time.
It was called the Perfect Blend.
The Perfect Blend.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that story. Main Street really is a special place. It's electric.
Oh, it is special.
Always changing.
Yes.
Always ups and downs.
Yes.
You know, there's
Yes.
only a few places there that are really like who've been there
Yes.
a long time. And
Yeah, it's a
everything
hard
else
place
is-
to do business.
It is. It is.
If you ever want to have an off-line conversation, I'll tell you everything not to do.
I would love that. I would love that. No, absolutely. That's so cool. Yeah, let me tweak your mic here just a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. So you were growing your business on Main Street.
Right.
And then what was the transition from that business into the Chamber of Commerce that
That's a good question, too. March 12th, and it will live in infamy. Other than
Okay.
being my birthday, it was the day all the students were asked to leave and go home.
Okay.
So from that point on, COVID hit, and trying to stay in business under COVID, and we were about 3 months behind on our rent.
Wow.
So having two young women going into college,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't punt.
Right.
I had to call the game. So I called everyone I knew that had come into the shop and asked me, are you willing to sell your shop?
Yeah.
And I found somebody. So we
Wow.
sold it to them.
So you sold it.
We sold the business.
Yeah.
I took off for about a year. I was loving it. I thought this is great. And then I was hating it, and I needed to be around people, and I needed to have energy around me, and I needed to just enjoy life again.
Right.
And I saw this opportunity at the Chamber. I seized it, and I haven't looked back because it's great.
Got you. Now it's totally fine if this becomes too personal. But one of the goals of this series is not just to talk about business, but to try and give some insight to those who might be starting. They're going to hit those moments. They're going to hit those places where they have to choose between A and B, option
Correct.
A and B.
Yes.
And when those moments come, who do you sell your business to? That's a big question.
That's a
How
great
did you
question.
find the people to buy it? How did you know your baby was in the right hands, or if it, for the right price, I mean, you'd sell the baby too. But do you mind talking a little bit about what that process was like?
I made a lot of mistakes. So the first mistake I made was initially, before COVID came, I had someone approach me and they were interested in buying me out.
Okay.
The mistakes I made, I put too many cards on the table. And they didn't have the income to back it up.
Right.
So that was the first mistake I made. So I learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, I felt kind of stupid actually, because I was like, I just gave them all my information.
Right.
And they're my competitor. And now they're backing away, but they have gained so much.
Right.
So I thought, okay, when you make these mistakes, you've got to learn from them, and you've got to figure out, one, why did you do that? Why did I do that was because I didn't think it through. I didn't think about the impact it would have if they said no. I didn't look at it all the angles. I just assumed they were going to do it.
Yeah.
So that was my first experience, and I thought, okay, I understand this, but I still wanted to keep the business going. And then I would have people come in on and off. I especially had some students that came in that were very wealthy, that lived in Dubai, and they were like, Jeanne, we have to take you to Dubai. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But also I'm like, what's real and what's not real? So I had a conversation, and what I had to do with them would not suit my lifestyle. Yeah. So the most important thing I found in all of this was talking, asking questions, just keep asking questions and get all the information you can.
Yeah.
But then not only ask questions of the person in front of you, but go and ask questions to the person who's been through this before.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. So my landlord, who I'm going to say I love, Hal Prettyman, I love you very much. I went to him.
Yeah.
And he was a mentor, and he basically said, this is how you do it, Jeanne.
Yeah.
And he explained to me how to lay some cards on the table, but not all of them. He explained to me what I should be demanding and expecting. And he was good at guiding me. So that part of that helped me. The other part was I was always out there connecting with people.
Yeah.
So that's also, I have a coffee shop, and I'm pumping out lattes and cappuccinos all day long.
The heart of networking.
Yeah, and I'm literally covered in sugar. I smelled like sugar all day long, butter and sugar. But I also understood that I needed to connect with everybody that came into the store.
Right.
So that was really important. I couldn't just put a young person behind the counter and forget about it.
Right.
Because it's very important as the owner that I understand who my customers are and what their needs are. And it changes, because when you have different students come in every year, you have a different gang of folks coming in that you have to capture so they come back the following year.
Yeah.
So for me, what I did was I kept these conversations going. And that's also my sweet spot, so it was easy for me.
Yeah, that's actually a great segue back to the Chamber of Commerce, because, I believe it was you who came up to me and you said, so what's your deal? What are you doing here? And meeting at that event was very, very proper. I mean, you have the inquisitive personality that I think is very necessary to learn as much as you can, because and I'm still kind of learning a lot about what the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce really does for the community. I Google a lot, and I've been to a couple events, but you were able to kind of show me in real time that what we're doing is what the Newcastle County Chamber, or not just this, but the third Tuesday events. It's the networking and your personality and bringing everybody into those circles. When I called you to check on this event, you had a great idea, and would you mind telling a little bit about, this is something that you do regularly?
Yes.
Do you mind talking a little bit about that? Because I feel like that gives a little bit more of an insight into what the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce does.
Sure.
As well, yeah.
So when we keep talking about connection, and we keep talking about to grow your business, you have to connect. Well, what does that actually mean? How do I come up and I talk to Aaron?
Right.
And what the Chamber does, it's a safe place. And I always joke around, it's a safe place, but we're still going to make fun of you.
Right.
And most events that we have, we'll give you 30 seconds to pitch your business. And it's hard to do that, but we teach you how to do that. Not only do you get to pitch it for 30 seconds, we also ask you to listen to everyone else. So as everyone else in the room is speaking and they're giving you their 30 seconds, I want you listening to what those folks are saying and how you can relate to them.
Right.
If that means doing business with them, if that means you know someone who's doing business with them. When you come to the chamber, even though you're there to grow your business, the best way to do that is to serve.
Right.
To help other people, to get other people connected. Because once you get your community and your people going, now the flow comes back to you. And when I see folks coming into the chamber, they come to our networking events, they come to our policymaker series where we have our local politicians talking about what is going on in the state of Delaware.
So policy series you can check out right here. I'm going to put a link in the post.
And the Policymaker Series, we do have one coming up with Lisa Blunt Rochester this month.
Okay.
And the amazing thing about Delaware, it's such a small state, you can actually speak to her.
Yeah.
You can actually have an interaction with her and ask her about what her policies are. Why is she making those choices? It's a very intimate conversation with people that you normally can't get close to.
Yeah.
But it also puts you in the room with C-suite executives.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to knock on the door with with a higher level executive, they're there at the policymaker as well. So it gives you that ability, if you learn to go up like you did, shake someone's hand, look them in the eye, kind of get back to those roots of that old-fashioned, hi, I'm Jeanne Kress, how are you?
Right.
And you just talk to them.
Yeah.
And it's very, people are receptive and open to that because that's what they're there for as well.
Right.
So they're not going to tell you to go away or close the door, and they don't have someone there monitoring their calls.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So it's a great opportunity for small businesses.
Yeah, the safe space as in this is a space where you can feel comfortable just
Correct.
They look interesting. I wonder what they do, and just start the conversation.
Because the chamber members are all there to support each other. So because someone is the CEO of a large corporation, they're still there to support that young budding entrepreneur. We're all, and my kids kill me when I say this. We're all in this together.
Right,
so, so
we certainly are.
yeah. So it's really something that the chamber allows businesses to have that conduit, because you can't do it just walking down the street, making phone calls, sending emails, which I still recommend that you do.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that kind of touches on too the specific market we're in here in Delaware. It's a small market. It's a small, cozy space, which has a lot of advantages, right? It's easy to get to know a lot of people in the space, but then it has some disadvantages too. That if you don't have the resources here, it feels like miles to go to Philly, miles to go to Baltimore, all those types of spaces. So it's super important to have organizations like yours to connect.
Yeah.
To connect what we do have here in Delaware.
Absolutely. Yes.
Do you have some events coming up? Is there anything you'd like to talk about now? I know we mentioned the Delaware First event. That's the third Tuesday of every month. That's right here at Stitch House coming through. And then I know you guys, you host your annual gala. I'm going to put some links up too. If you haven't gotten a chance, check out Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce. Check out their website down here. I love pointing because later in the editing room, it's very fun for me to add it all in. But yeah, are there any events that you want to talk about coming up, or is there anything monthly or weekly that we haven't touched on?
Oh, absolutely. So the first Wednesday of every month, I invite anyone to come. We open the doors at 8 a.m. and at 8:30 we begin, and we do what I call an open lead group. So there's a lot of referral groups out there that are like BNIs where they have exclusivity, and we have them as well in our chamber. But this one allows anyone to come, and everyone gets to practice that 30-second pitch. So I think that's really important to learn how to concisely say what you do. And you'd be really surprised. Some people just can't sum it up.
Yeah.
They can't find the words.
Yeah.
We'll help you do that. And then we have a member that will give a 15-minute presentation, and then we do some really serious networking. And I really urge everyone in the room to get in front of someone that they haven't met, make an appointment, have a cup of coffee with each other, and nurture that relationship beyond just saying, hi, how are you?
That's wonderful. That's the first Wednesday of every month.
First Wednesday of every month at the Chamber. We're down at 920 Justison Street. We're right behind Planet Fitness. There's free parking, and you just walk down towards the river on the right-hand side.
That's awesome.
So, and then tomorrow we have a great reception that's happening at the Children's Museum, and that is with the superintendents. So it's a superintendent reception where you get to meet all these folks. And one of the things that we found, putting people in panels does start to become a little dry and boring. So this way, we're just having a networking event with these folks accessible so that you can come up and speak to them, express your needs, your wants, your issues, and you can have real-time conversations with these folks and learn what is going on in the individual school districts as well.
That is awesome. Yeah, don't recreate the wheel. It's all right there for you. That's so cool. And I really, you know, I want to thank you for being here for sure.
Thank you. No, it's great.
Before I kind of go into the wrap up here, was there anything else that you wanted to mention or anything else you want to talk about here? I have a page full of questions. What types of businesses do you know, have you had the most fun working with? You know, what are some of the common struggles business, you know, but I do want to keep these around, you know, 15 to 20 minutes. But was there anything else that you wanted to mention in the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce space?
Well, what I do want to say is when I had my own business, I never thought of joining a chamber.
Yeah.
I thought they were old, they were antiquated. The Newcastle County Chamber is not your daddy's chamber. It is a chamber that welcomes everyone. It looks like Newcastle County.
Right.
So that's really important. But all the chambers in Delaware are excellent. So I always I use the analogy when you're buying a home and you walk into your home, you know it's the right home, so you buy it.
Gotcha.
That's what you have to do with your chambers. Walk into chambers, take them for test drives, and see if those are your people.
Yeah.
Because when you find your people, that's when the chamber magic happens. And that is our goal at the Newcastle County Chamber, is to keep that magic running through all these companies and helping them accelerate their growth.
I love that so much. It sounds like you found your people.
I think I have. I think it's great.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hey, I got to meet you because of this job, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'll be seeing you on the third Tuesday this month.
Absolutely, yes.
Jeanne, thank you so much for joining me. We also want to thank Stitch House again for having us. You can check out more about Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce here. And, of course, you know, it's business time. That wraps it up for week 5. Again, thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, this is awesome.
And we'll see you next week. Oh, and make sure to send any small businesses our way.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.